Yo, it's your boy Rush. I'm in the building with the one and only, chaotic truth. We about to be talking about Mike Tyson. We got a little debate going on right now. Yo, truth, let them know what's good.
What's good? To be completely honest with you, and I'm gonna drop the link. Um, but me and Rush just were talking about, there was supposed to be a show. Fortunately, due to circumstances beyond the control of Rush, the previous show was canceled. However, the network must go on, and we wanted to do a show for you guys. And I said, well, why don't we talk about something sports related? And I mentioned basketball, and then we pretty much decided just to do boxing. And I said, let's do something that's very controversial. Let's talk about the paper champion, Mike Tyson. Now, Rush does not believe that Mike Tyson is a paper champion. I, on the other hand, believe that not only is he a paper champion, I believe that the heavyweight division has been a trash division for 50 years. Rush does not agree with me, and a lot of people don't agree with me. I know Mike from Boston doesn't agree with me on this, but I think that Mike Tyson, his title defenses early on were against trash boxers. He beat up an old Trevor Burbick. When it came down to fighting actual A-level heavyweight boxers, he got his ass handed to him. And the individual on the screen, for all of you kids who don't know, this man is called Buster Douglas. He is the man that still has Mike Tyson looking for his mouthpiece to this day. Now, the thing about the 90s, what you young people have to realize is that the 90s was a very different time. And Mike Tyson, he was really popular because of his aura. He was popular because of not because of what he was doing in the ring, but he was more or less popular because at the time, you got to remember, boxing was a very, very popular sport in the 90s.
Yeah, it was real popular, especially for the heavyweights.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, he was very marketable, and I think that's why.
But hold on, truth, chaotic. Like, what's your definition of a paper champ?
Call me Buster Douglas today, sir.
Uh,
But just call me
Buster Douglas.
Call me Buster today.
The
Sir,
disrespect is real.
the definition of a paper champion is Mike Tyson. He is the absolute definition of a paper champion. Again, Mike Tyson, terrible work ethic. Everybody gives the excuse about Cuss dying and he lost his work drive. No, a real champion doesn't lose their work ethic. Do you know? During Floyd's illustrious boxing career, in my opinion, Floyd is the number one boxer of all time. But Floyd's father was in the penitentiary. Floyd was trained by both of his uncles. Floyd went through so many different things as well as a child, and he never wavered, sir. He even had his own father training what I think his father trained Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah,
so the fact of the matter is
that was kind of grimy.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is that everybody has these excuses for Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson got his ass handed to him by Buster Douglas, who was a complete nobody.
Listen. Hold on. We can't call Mike Tyson a paper champ.
Well, you asked me.
Yeah, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on. He has 58 fights, right? He won 50 of them, and 44 of them he knocked all his opponents out. And on top of that, he only has 6 losses. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where you get the paper champion thing coming about, because that don't make no sense to me. You know what I mean?
Sir. True champions don't lose to nobodies. Could you imagine a nobody welterweight boxer ranked, I don't know, 30th in the world, knocking out Floyd Mayweather? Could you imagine something that crazy? Could you imagine Floyd going the distance with a boxer who no, I'm not even going to use that example. Could you imagine, sir, losing to an individual twice and you bit off his ear the first fight, sir, Mike Tyson is all allure. It's all media created. He's not even in the top 50 of boxers of all time. I would even suggest
Yeah,
he's like 100. He's in the hundreds,
nah, he's up
and
there.
he
He's
lost.
definitely up there.
He lost.
Listen, one Holyfield, yo, he's a good adversary to get into, like a respectable fighter. Like he's a respectable fighter, and it was a decent fight the first time they fought.
Let me ask you a question, sir. Name me a Hall of Fame boxer that Mike Tyson has fought. Exactly. I mean, I guess you could say Larry Holmes, but shit, Larry Holmes was 90 years old when he fought him, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, Larry Holmes is a Hall of Fame boxer, but he was 90 years old when he fought Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yo, listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Oh, Michael Spinks.
Okay, yeah. He didn't fight no. He didn't defeat somebody with a big name like Holyfield or Lennox Lewis, but the amount of fighters that he fought that were no name, they were pretty challenging fights, and they were respectable fighters too.
He got washed by Kevin McBride, a white drunkard from Ireland. Come on, sir. Come on. I mean, how trash.
I want to see he got washed.
He got washed, sir. Okay, go ahead. You got the floor. I keep cutting you up.
44 knockouts. That's pretty impressive, man.
Sir, he knocked out.
You can't say. Hold on. Yeah. Chaotic. You can't. I mean, Buster Douglas. My bad.
Yes, Mr. Buster.
You can't say the amount of people that he knocked out were all bums. Like, that's not believable.
Sir.
What up, Mike from Boston? Sir. What up?
Listen, sir.
Yeah, what up?
Tyson, yes, I will admit I was a kid in the 90s. It was very fun watching his fights. But sir, anybody can knock out a dishwasher, a cab driver, and a janitor within 20 seconds, sir, if you are a trained fighter. And that's who he was knocking out, sir. He was knocking out people who worked at McDonald's, sir. Those weren't real boxers he was knocking out.
So wait, hold on. So you're saying when he beat the lineal heavyweight champion in Michael Spinks, he's a cab driver?
Okay, Michael Spinks. Okay, now you bring up an interesting point here. Michael Spinks was born in 1949, and he is a current International Boxing Hall of Fame boxer. I'll agree with you. But Michael Spinks was old at the time. He was 37 years old at the time when he fought this kid. Michael Spinks was way past his time, Mike from Boston. Now, you're a boxing fan. You know this.
He may have been past his time, but you cannot call Mike Tyson a paper champion because he won his first belt that he won was the WBC title off of Trevor Berbick, and it was legitimate title defense, and he won it. So he's not an email champ in the sense that he was just handed the belts because they were vacant. He actually did beat the man who beat the man, and beating Michael Spinks and Trevor Berbick to get those titles.
Okay, well, let's be honest. You and I both know that Trevor Berbick was 35 at the time of that fight. So, I mean, what are we arguing here?
The bottom line is that these guys that he also, you have to remember, he defeated also. He was older, but he beat Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes is one of the best fighters at heavyweight we've ever seen. Maybe some people even say he's the best we've ever seen. Mike Tyson beat the shit out of him. He also beat what's that guy from Canada? The guy from Canada? No, not from Canada. The dude who gave Lennox Lewis a really good fight. Frank Bruno. He beat him twice. That guy was no joke, man. That guy was a big, powerful, strong heavyweight. He would compete. He'd probably beat all the heavyweights now, except for Tyson Fury.
No, wait a minute. Now, you and I both know that Frank Bruno was a bum because, hear me out. And I know me and you talked about these belts before, but Frank Bruno won. I think he only won the WBC once, and that was at the end of his career. He beat some no-name boxer. I can't even think of the guy's name. He was a black guy, but he beat him at the end of his career. He won the WBC, then lost it to Mike Tyson. But you and I both have even argued about the WBC before. I mean, yeah, Frank Bruno, he was not a person who had any title defenses, etc. What are we talking about, Mike from
But
Boston?
he gave Lennox Lewis a very good fight. He nearly beat Lennox Lewis. If you watch that fight, he
Yeah,
ended up
actually, yeah,
losing
I
by
remember
knockout.
seeing that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
It
got
was
a
a very, very close fight. Very
okay, I got a
close
question.
fight.
I got a question
Yeah.
for you. Okay. Maybe it's a little bit outrageous for me to have put that on the thumbnail, paper champion belt. Okay, maybe that's outrageous. But my thing is that could you imagine Floyd Mayweather losing to a nobody like Kevin McBride?
Well, if you're talking about the end of Tyson's career when he was really past it, I mean, he was, he shouldn't have even been fighting anymore. But you could say the same thing about Muhammad Ali.
Mm,
He was getting beat up by guys. He shouldn't have been fighting anymore either.
right.
And so I can't hold that against Tyson. One point I will agree with you is that when the pressure came on later in his career, I'd say after, after Customato
I
died,
know. Yeah. Yeah.
he
Very,
did fail. He failed a number of times when he should have if he was going to prove himself to be one of the best of all times, he should have
yeah.
won those fights um, against Holyfield. He lost them both. He lost to Lennox Lewis. So I understand when people say that when he actually stepped up, when
Yeah.
it really mattered, the pressure overcame him, and he
Yeah.
wasn't able to hold that same fear. He used to put fear. The thing about a guy like Mike Tyson is
Yeah.
that he not only knocked people out, he would knock people out in devastating fashion.
But Mike from Boston, you and I both know that again, he knocked out bums, for the most part. I mean, these guys were practically, I don't know where Mike from Boston went, but he brings up a good point. But nevertheless, when we are talking about boxing, boxing is an art. It's the beautiful science. And the fact of the matter is that pressure fighting is good, but pressure fighting gets exposed if you go into the later rounds, which we can clearly see that Tyson was not good at. Now, here goes the thing. If Mike Tyson was a champion, why did he lose when it counted, Rush?
Well, I mean, some fighters have their days and some don't. In that particular fight, Tyson was not on his A game. I would agree with you on that. You know, but as far as some saying that he's a paper champ, like nah, like he did fought some formidable athletes in the ring.
Name one.
Oh come on, man, Frank
No, no,
Bruno.
no, no, no. Name one. No, no, name one. Because everybody always goes back to Larry Holmes. Everybody goes back to Michael Spinks. But okay, it's okay. Anybody could beat up on some old man. But what I'm saying is, who did
Well,
he?
37 is not that old.
Okay, so okay. See, this is mind-boggling. This is absolutely
Well,
mind-boggling.
well,
People, go ahead.
let me say this.
Go
What's
ahead,
that
sir.
guy's name? Uh, there's a boxer. He's like, oh, I forgot it. He's from Philadelphia.
A lot of boxers are from Philly.
Yeah, he got a big head. What's his name? Well, he's like he got the welterweight champion belt at the age of 42. I forgot his name though.
Are you talking about Bernard Hopkins?
Yeah, Hopkins. Yeah.
Sir, I'm about to end this live stream, sir. Sir, you're comparing probably one of the, in my opinion, Bernard is in the top 5. You're comparing a man who's probably the greatest title defense boxer ever against Mike Tyson. Come on.
Listen, but you're
Bernard Hopkins
saying
he had an excellent diet. He didn't drink smoke. He didn't fornicate. That's what made him so great, even at his old age. So yes, it's a difference between his 42. But go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
yeah, but it's like so just because a fighter with recognition lost at the age of 37 against Mike Tyson does not make him not a good adversary to fight. It was a decent fight. And it just so happened that Mike Tyson, beat him.
I can arguably say that Mike Tyson should be erased from the history books of boxing.
Come on, man. I think you're going a bit too
No,
far.
because he didn't fight any. Look, okay, when it came, okay, his title defenses were against bums. When it came down to fighting top tier boxers, not Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield washed him. I mean, other than that, who did he fight? I'm just trying to figure this out. Who did he fight? And it Frank Bruno? Come on, man. Frank Bruno had no titles. No titles.
But he was a decent fighter, and he put up a good fight against Lennox Lewis, just like Mike from Boston was saying.
Listen, if I gained 40 pounds, became a heavyweight, I guess I could be a good fighter too. The heavyweight division is trash anyway. Come on, man. Listen, you know how trash the heavyweight division is? Look at Deontay Wilder, right? And hopefully I never meet him. Deontay Wilder is a basketball player who boxes on the side. Now, listen. Okay. When it comes to technique or tools of technique, I gotta say this, man. When I watch heavyweight boxers, it's literally like watching a bar fight. Maybe because of their size. Maybe
hold on. I mean, you do realize in the early '90s, heavyweight boxers was the thing.
That's because so
like this whole featherweight, welterweight, that's on the scene now. This is new. It wasn't like that back then.
I agree. Well, the media has a way of, again, creating characters, and I think that Mike Tyson was just a created character. He was very marketable, and I believe maybe this is a conspiracy theory of mine, but the '90s had the Mikes. They had Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan. Is it possible that that name was very marketable in the '90s? I don't know. It's just a conspiracy theory. But what I do know is this: Mike Tyson is still looking for his mouthpiece to this day. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, as far as the marketing scheme aspect, I mean, I could see you're right. At that time, yeah, the name Mike was a nice marketing scheme back then because of Jordan himself, But other than that, that's not what gave Mike Tyson his recognition as Iron Mike Tyson. He got the nickname Iron Mike Tyson because he was a gifted fighter that knocked out majority of his opponents. I mean,
all I'm saying is that yes, Mike Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. Mike Tyson, if I'm not mistaken, he unified the belts, but he did it with a division, in my opinion, that literally has, and me and Mike from Boston have argued about this, but in my opinion, the heavyweight division had no depth to it. I mean, honestly, Rush, to be honest with you, you probably could have went back into the '90s and been a top tier heavyweight fighter. I mean, it just had no, and I'm not disrespecting you as a fighter, but it just really had no depth to it. Let's be honest. The welterweight has a lot of depth to it. Let's be completely honest. I mean, think about. Go ahead. You get the floor.
I disagree because the fighting technique as a heavyweighter was remarkable. What's his name? George Foreman. His fighting style was pretty good. Muhammad Ali, incredible fighter. You know what I'm saying? And these are all heavyweights. You know what I mean? And you're making it seem like like all majority of the heavyweights that had their recognition from the early '90s were straight up garbage, and that's not true.
I'm not saying that they were garbage. I'm just saying that.
I mean, when you're comparing their fighting skills into a bar fight in comparison, it's kind of it's kind of disrespectful.
Well, the reason why I'm doing that is, that, in my opinion, right? Okay, so let's look at sports, right? The best runners, long distance runners, are smaller human beings, typically East Africans. So, not top heavy, broad shoulder West Africans like us, right? So we're not gonna be your typical Nigerian, your typical Ghanaian is not gonna run a sub. I mean, it could happen, but if correct me. But typically, your typical Nigerian is not gonna run a sub 2:15 marathon because our bodies are just built differently.
Yeah, it's built different. Yeah.
So, but can a Nigerian win at sprinting? Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt is, I mean, yeah, his nationality is Jamaican, but his ancestry is Nigerian. So, you know, athleticism comes in different packages. So, in my opinion, when you look at somebody big and they're fighting, it doesn't. Boxing is a sport, right? It's a sport, right?
Right.
So, a bigger person, in my opinion, is so big that they can't bob and weave like a smaller person. They're just
okay. Now that I'll give you that. You're right about that.
Yeah,
It looks more.
It looks better than when a welterweight.
Okay. Some, not all.
Yeah.
Some like featherweight fighters when they throw in hands, it does look good. It does look better than a heavyweighter, but the heavyweighter is more you get more of a barbaric feel of it, like the like the watching the impact with his fist hitting the other guy and he's stumbling. It's more of a concrete type physical fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat.
The lightweight, it's more. Salute to Matt Militant with this super chat. Stay gang, but
So, for example, when I look at bigger human beings boxing, in my opinion, from what I see, what makes me keep looking at it, it looks like it's wild because it looks like monsters are fighting each other. These are giants fighting each other, and I think that's why people used to like watching heavyweights.
Right.
In my opinion, I don't think that they have the same skill set as a Sugar Ray Leonard or definitely not a Floyd Mayweather. I mean, and that's why people are always not surprised, but they are always enthralled when they see somebody big like Tyson Fury when he's bobbing and weaving because he looks like a smaller person doing it, but he's 6'9". So, Rush, I gotta say this, man. You could be right and I could be wrong, or vice versa. But the heavyweight division is trash. It's trash.
I doubt it. I doubt that because
you could gain 50 pounds and be a heavyweight. You could win a WBC if you gain. If you started boxing heavyweight right now.
I'm not going to disrespect the sport like that. It takes years of training and focus and
Deontay Wilder started training at 16. That just showed you how trash the sport is. I mean, how trash the division is.
Well, I mean, Deontay is his genetics allow him to move the way he moved. Playing both sports. Not every basketball player could do what Deontay's doing right now.
I was joking about him being a basketball player. I was just trying to make fun of his height and the fact that he can't really box. So, but the one thing that Deontay Wilder has is he has that sleeper, and a lot of boxing analysts believe is probably the greatest sleeper in boxing history. I'm sorry, they don't call it a sleeper. Guys, please help me out who are boxing fans here. They call it, I can't think of the damn name. But basically, if he hits you, it's a wrap. But, I got to say this, man. And I hate to say this, right? Because I actually liked Mike Tyson a lot as a kid. I still like him now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Tyson, when you watch his older
paper champion,
his older videos sparring as in the Olympics, you can tell he was superior fighting from watching him before he became the champion, right. Watching his growth from fighting in the Olympics, right. And then becoming a world champion. You can see the evolution of his fighting style. I mean,
I've taught at elementary, junior high school, and middle school. I've seen 8-year-olds boxing the air, and it looks nice too. So So just because Tyson was throwing punches at the air, people, oh yeah, look at that, man, wow. I'm like, yeah, he's throwing punches at the air. Good for him. But I've seen 10-year-olds do the same damn thing and it looks the same damn way. So stop it. Stop. I've seen 14-year-old kids slap boxing, and I'm like, damn, these kids have hands. Sir, we gotta get off.
Listen. Like for example, right? Kimbo Slice, he's from that era.
Trash.
Now,
rest in peace.
He's not trash.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Kimbo Slice. Like when you watch the backyard fights and the people that he was fighting, and you could tell he's salute. What's good, Freezy? I see you in the building.
What's going on? Chaotic, what's up?
What's up, man?
Yeah, just popping it up. Now, man.
Today. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're talking about Mike Tyson and Labudo, aka Chaotic Truth, think he's a paperweight champion, which I totally disagree. Now, man.
So no captivity. What do you think about Mike Tyson? Are you a man of a certain age, or you are a 19-year-old kid who has heard this from your grandfathers? This nonsense. Keep it real, sir.
Nah. I grew up during Mike Tyson's era, and I've been tuning into you guys' conversation. Mike, he was a fan favorite. He was Tupac's friend. He was Michael Jordan's friend.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of marketing going on with Mike. Now, I'm not going to diminish Mike's skills. I still think he's one of the hardest hitting boxers in history.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Evander Holyfield during that time, to me, was the best boxer. During Mike Tyson's era, I think Evander Holyfield owned Mike Tyson, even during the Olympic days and stuff. So
no captivity and Rush. I'm assuming no captivity. Did you pledge at all? No captivity.
Yeah, I pledge Kappa Alpha Psi family.
Okay, I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha. I would tell the chapter, but I don't want to get doxxed. Now here goes the thing, sir. You and I both know, and I'm going to use coded language. You and I both know what it is, right?
Yes, sir.
I used to have to wash my dishes, or like little things like washing the dean's dishes. Rush, that's exactly what Mike Tyson was doing for Evander Holyfield. He was washing Evander Holyfield's dishes. He was ironing his clothes. That's what I had to do. Yeah. I'm gonna keep it. I don't want to give too much information, but that's what Mike Tyson was doing in the 90s, man. He pretty much was the equivalent of somebody pledging and having to wash dishes for. Go ahead, sir.
Well, what level of fighter do you think he was even good, Chaotic, or what?
I believe that Mike Tyson was a part of a trash division. It's not even about Mike Tyson being good or not. It's just that entire division has really been trash. Here goes the thing. Now, people can argue and say that Muhammad Ali was suffering from Parkinson's at an early age, which I could. I'm not a doctor, right? But let's just assume that you take that out the equation, and I hate to say that because even though I never seen Muhammad Ali fight, he is a great American. But let's be honest here. Muhammad Ali lost to a fighter who was 8-0. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. He lost to a fighter who was 8-0. There is Rush. Imagine a 8-0 Uber driver beating Floyd Mayweather, sir. Now you see what I'm talking about, Rush. The welterweight division does not work like that. That's how skilled that division is, and that's why I say, hell, I could gain 30 pounds to become a heavyweight. 40 pounds and become a heavyweight boxer and probably be a contender, because in my opinion,
hold on.
Muhammad Ali lost to a 8-0 fighter. Did you know that?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Name me a top 15 welterweight or middleweight that has lost to somebody who has a 7 or 8-0 record. I'm waiting for you right now. Exactly. Never.
What fighter are you referring to, K?
It was if I'm not mistaken, it was Larry Holmes. Hold on for a second. I believe it was. Hold on. Hold on for a second. I believe he lost to Larry Holmes, who was 8-0 at the time. But give me 1 second. Let me just verify that before I get. Okay, give me a second, guys.
Larry Holmes was a beast.
No, but wait.
He was a beast.
Give me 1 second. It wasn't Ken Norton. It wasn't Joe Frazier. I think it was Larry Holmes, who was 8-0 at the time, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on for 1 second. Larry Holmes fought Muhammad Ali in 1980, October 2nd. So I think it was Larry Holmes. Let me see. 1980. Let me see. 1980. Okay, it wasn't Larry Holmes. Sorry about that.
I was about to say, I don't
Maybe
think
it was Trevor Burbick. Let me see.
Yeah, he was trash.
Okay, let me see. No, wait a minute. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta look this up now. Okay, give me a second. Ken Norton. But anyway, you guys go ahead. Though. Let me look this up real quick.
Yeah, I think I watched all of Mike fights, man, and I'm not gonna lie, dog. Mike was good. Mike to me, Mike was a beast. He really was. But I will concede to Chaotic's point.
Leon Spinks. That's who it was.
Mike lost to Leon for Spinks.
He lost to Leon Spinks. Leon Spinks had 7 fights. That's why I say the heavyweight division is trash. How do you lose to somebody who has 7 fights and you are the greatest boxer of all time, supposedly? That's like me.
Yeah, you're right. He lost to Leon Spinks.
Leon Spinks, that's what it was.
He beat the brakes off Michael Spinks.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. You about to say something? Please.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think Mike was he was very good. But you're right. I will concede to your point that the division, it was trash, man. It really was, man. We just talked about Michael Spinks' fight. It was a joke. It was a joke. We probably could have beat Michael Spinks. It was a joke, man. But Mike, I used to watch Mike though. You know, the nigga was good. You know what I'm saying?
He was real good.
Yeah, he was good. He was lightning fast. I never seen anybody hit that hard and that fast before in my life. He was real good, but the division was trash. It really was. That's why I really wasn't a Mike Tyson fan. I was an Evander Holyfield fan. That nigga could box, But
yeah, Holyfield was pretty good. I'm not even gonna front.
Do you
Lennox Lewis too? Lennox was pretty good too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, UK boxers are typically good, but like I said, man, Rush, like I said, man, Rush, you could be right, bro, and I'll give you that. You could be right. I could be wrong. Listen, there are boxing historians. That's all they do, sir. They analyze all types of fighters. They go through our history. But I know what I saw in the 90s. And what I saw was a man who literally was the best at beating bums. And he was a bum himself. And that's what I saw in the 90s.
Nah. Yo, right. Tyson is far from being a bum,
Well, it's not that he's a bum. It's the fact that the entire division is bummy.
I wouldn't say the entire division was trash. Yes.
Can I ask you a question? If Floyd had started boxing at 15 years old, would he have been a top tier welterweight fighter?
Not to this time. No.
That's the difference between the welterweight division and smaller divisions. You have to start off as a kid almost, because the amount of experience level, the amount of sparring is just different at these smaller levels.
Right, but let me tell you why the heavyweight that fights only 8 fights, 0 losses would probably have the ability to knock out a Tyson or Holyfield is because when you're a heavyweight, it's really unpredictable. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
It's really unpredictable. It's really unpredictable. So anything can happen between 2 males that's, over 200 pounds. It could go down, whether if he's experienced or inexperienced, whether if he's more experienced than the other fighter. You know what I mean?
And that's always been my problem with the heavier divisions, because that right there just reminds me of any old street fight then. that means that anybody can win. The beauty of these smaller weight classes is that you literally have to be a skilled
The
individual.
reason why they have to be skilled is because when they hit each other, the impact is not as it's not as strong as somebody that's an actual heavyweight. You know what I
Right,
mean?
of course, right.
So it takes a lot more to knock out some like for a featherweight to knock out another featherweight because it just takes a lot more work to put that pain in. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's been my whole argument. If we were talking about just brute strength, if we were talking about war, if we were talking about actual protection, I absolutely would want a Mike Tyson. But if we're talking about sport, oh, I'm picking Tank. I'm picking Devin Haney. I'm picking obviously a Floyd. I'm picking these smaller dudes. If we're talking about sport, because who I want to win in a sport level, like because these people are skilled. That unpredictability. I hate that about heavyweight fighting. Like I was on my
Yeah, and I can see why you guys would consider that division being trash because yeah, there would be some inexperienced fighters, putting in that work too, and that's the beauty of boxing, even no matter how experienced you are, it's a possibility you could get knocked out from a no name. I mean,
right. So when I was watching all the first fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, I'm on my seat because I really don't know who's gonna win. But when I watched the Pacquiao Floyd fight, oh, I already knew Floyd about to watch this dude because his skill level is different than Pacquiao's, from what I've seen. So I'm like,
right.
this is gonna be a comfortable fight. I know that. I know Floyd. They're gonna go to the distance, but I know that Floyd's gonna win off of points. He's just gonna win because he's a better skilled boxer. In truth be told, man, like I said, bro, we were kids, man. So, our brains are developing. The media is telling us who to like. We love Jordan. We love Mike Tyson. We love Michael Jackson. But a lot of these characters were created by the media, man. In my opinion, Rush. And truth be told, now that I think about it, I don't even think Mike Tyson is in the top 100s. He might be in the 200s at this point. But go ahead, though. You got the floor.
I mean, not yeah. I think you're being a bit harsh on Tyson, man.
I can legitimately say, sir, if you train for 2 weeks, you probably got a chance with Tyson, man.
The disrespect is real. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? No captivity, man. You think he's in the top 200s, man?
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Boxers of all time, you mean, right?
Man, Mike is in there, bro. We can't do Mike like that. We can't do Mike like that.
Well, I guess what we're saying is should he be lower? Should his ranking level? Because they ranked him 70, I think 74 or 75 in all time on Boxing Rec.
Should he be ranked lower than 75?
So people were saying that he should be it's lower but higher. People, there are a lot of people who believe that Mike Tyson is one of the top 5 boxers of all time, and it's so many great boxers out there that are just way better. I mean, how can he be
like who?
So, for example, Bernard Hopkins literally fought wars and literally is the greatest boxer in terms of defense titles, right? And
I would agree with that.
And so, obviously, he's in the top, right? Obviously, Floyd is in the top. In terms of all the weight classes, okay. Obviously, a Muhammad Ali is in the top, right? Because he literally went to battles with Hall of Famers and won. But to put Tyson in the top 5, then you're taking away the accolades of a lot of really good boxers. Rush, what say you, sir?
No, I disagree because
you're a Tysonite.
I want to say that.
Yeah.
It's like I said before,
Joe Louis would have whooped Mike Tyson.
Who?
Joe Louis.
I think Joe Louis would have whooped Mike Tyson.
He had like 200 fights.
Yeah, I want to say whoop, but yeah, maybe he could defeat him. But I want to say whoop.
Well, Joe Louis had 3 losses out of his entire career, so.
Yeah, but okay. Okay, I'll give y'all that. Maybe.
And he had a lot of defense. Like,
Maybe.
they didn't like.
I'm probably being biased right now, but I wouldn't. Nah, it's a 50% chance that would happen.
I could arguably say if Mike Tyson and Floyd fought, Floyd would win based off of just skill set. And all I'm saying is that as long as Tyson doesn't get a solid hit, I think that Tyson. I mean, it's a wrap. Floyd would win just off of like points and technicality. Like
yeah. Like I don't think.
But if Tyson,
I don't think he. Yeah.
But if Tyson were to hit him, he'd kill him in 1 or 2 punches. It's a wrap. But
yeah, I agree with you on that. And plus Mayweather have never lost a fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a very technical boxer, man. Rush. Like I said, man, I used to. I know a lot of this is blasphemy, man, but Mike Tyson, in my opinion, he fought substitute teachers, as far as I'm concerned. Go ahead, sir. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Yo, no captivity, man. What's your thoughts on that, man? Do you agree with Chaotic?
Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Thank you, bathroom.
Man, dog, think about it though. Mike fought some beasts though. You know what I'm saying? He fought Lennox Lewis was a beast. I wouldn't count Larry Holmes was pretty much washed up by the time Mike Tyson got to him.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what Chaotic was saying earlier, that Larry Holmes was not a decent fighter to go against Tyson.
I don't. To go back to Leon Spinks.
Mm-hmm.
Did Mike Tyson even? I don't think Mike Tyson fought Leon Spinks.
Hold on. Let me look it up.
I know he fought Michael Spinks. He
fought Mike Spinks, but let me see if he fought Leon Spinks. I'm about to look it up.
Yeah, but did you ever watch Mike Tyson's documentary, Rush?
Nah, but everybody keeps telling me it's real good.
Bruh, that nigga was a beast. That's why, I can't agree with Chaotic. His workout regimen, bro. The way this nigga used to work out, the way Customato used to, dog.
But you gotta remember that old dude that was training him, like
Customato.
Yeah, Customato. Like, yo, he believed in Mike Tyson so much to the point where he actually brought him to his crib to live with him so that he could spend more time to train Tyson. You know what I mean? Whatever he saw in Tyson gave him the energy to train him on that level. You know what I mean? That's why Tyson was such a great fighter, because somebody believed in him, and that's why he was able to accomplish the things that he accomplished from back then because of that,
Yeah, he looked at Customato like almost. Well, we know he looked at him like a father, but it was almost like idolatry. He idolized that dude, man, and that has a lot to do with Mike Tyson's downward spiral. After Customato died, Mike started, getting involved in heavy drugs, cocaine.
Right.
He was fucking a lot of hoes. By the time Buster Douglas got to Mike, he wasn't in fighting condition, man.
Yeah.
Dude, he was pretty much he was out of there, man. And
yeah, but you gotta understand, man. Like Customato took him in, man. Like Tyson probably had relatives that probably had the ability to take him in, but they didn't do it like this guy did. And for somebody to take you in their home and made you somewhat of a millionaire, and he dies, it would affect anybody to that point, coming from where he came from, and to be elevated on that point from a father figure type individual. Like, anybody will be heartbroken from that,
That's true. And I think that the category that Chaotic is trying to put Mike Tyson in I would put Deontay Wilder in that category. Deontay Wilder to me is he was. Now I'm gonna tell you something. It breaks my heart to say this because I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, but he's just not good, bro. Deontay Wilder is not good, bro.
And in no captivity. And I'm glad you said that. Now, mind you, Rush.
Right.
Think about what this man is saying. He's saying that Deontay Wilder is not good. Deontay Wilder is ranked 2 in the world in the heavyweight division. That right there lets you know the heavyweight division is not good.
He ranked what? 2?
Yeah. The heavyweight division now is not that great.
He's ranked number 2 or number 3 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's trash.
That just shows you how trash the heavyweight division is.
He trash, bro. Real talk. This dude trash. He might got one of the best haymakers in in boxing.
They call it
he got a heavy hand. Like, yo, he do got a heavy hand.
So according
to nigga out for real.
According to boxing sources, he's ranked 4 on Boxing Rec. On what the hell is this? On the Transnational Boxing Rankings board, he's ranked 3. On the ring, you guys know what the ring is. He's ranked 3. WBA, let me see. He's ranked 9. WBC ranked number 1 because he's been a title holder at the WBC. I don't think he's ever fought for the IBF or the WBO. But that right there lets you know, man, like it's just an inferior. I don't want to say that, but it's just not a good boxing division. When a street ball basketball player is the number 2 in boxing, come on, let's recap.
Yo, you're funny. Well,
so Chaotic, do you think Tyson Fury is good too?
I think Tyson Fury is a legitimately good boxer. Period. I think that he has I've seen him box. His angles, his ring vision, the way he handles himself on the ropes, the way he can get out of certain traps, his bobbing and weaving. Obviously, it's on the level of being of almost you. If you didn't know it, you would think he was a smaller boxer at times, but sometimes he boxes real heavy. But he's a legitimately good boxer. I would say of all time, he's probably in the top 25.
I think Tyson Fury is trash too.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, because the whole I'm just going back to your original point. The whole heavyweight. Look at Joshua. Look at these motherfuckers, bro.
Anthony Joshua. Yeah.
These motherfuckers is trash, bro. Is Andy Ruiz? Is he heavyweight?
Andy Ruiz is a heavyweight.
Andy, bro. I could whoop Andy Ruiz. Bro.
Listen.
Nigga trash, bro.
I look, man. I knew that the heavyweight division was trash when they let a Mexican become the world heavyweight champion. I said, "You gotta be kidding me, man." That's how trash it is. Rush, you still there?
Yeah, I'm like dying.
Like, listen, man, look, man. That's the equivalent of an Eskimo being the rookie of the year in the NBA. Come on, man.
That's why I can't. That's why I want to give Tyson Fury a little more credit, but he good. He's fun. Like, okay, he's fundamentally sound. He looked good in the ring.
Yeah,
but come on, bro. I mean, these dudes is trash, man.
Yeah,
real talk, man. I don't even want to watch heavyweight boxing no more. It's just fucking trash, man. Stupid.
If I want to watch
you know what it is, man? I don't think they're recruiting decent fighters for that for the heavyweight. I mean, like, because there's not enough skilled fighters getting actually the recognition to become a decent heavyweight fighter. So that's why we see a lot of not so great heavyweight fighters right now, because a lot of them is not really getting put on.
Well, they're not. To be honest with you, I don't think they're even taking the sport seriously as they used to in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and shit, because it ain't no competition. It's like, bro, Andy Ruiz beat. I think who did he beat? He beat Joshua, right? I think. Yeah, he beat
Yeah,
Joshua.
he beat Anthony Joshua. Yeah.
Bro, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, bro, I lost money on that fight, bro. A lot of money,
Oh,
man.
you put money on that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Because
Oh, bro, why
nobody in
wouldn't
their
I
right
bet
mind.
with Joshua? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind.
Yo, hold on. I gotta ask you this, Freezy. How much did you lose?
I lost about $1,000.
Oh, yo, you
But
believed
but
in
but
Fred.
before the, with all due fairness, before the fight started, I was very confident in my stack. You know, I'm with Joshua, bro. I'm like, who would bet? Okay, and the thing about it is, I bet 1,000 to another person's 2,000, right?
Right.
So I would have won 2 grand. But I'm like, who's gonna bet with who's stupid enough to bet with Andy Ruiz? And the motherfucker won. That shit was crazy, man.
Yeah, it's let me see. You know, like I said, man, I would never in my mind have imagined a heavyweight Mexican beating a black or a white. I just couldn't imagine it, and that's why I say the heavyweight division is trash. I can see
Yeah. I mean, yo,
beating.
dude, aesthetically, he didn't even look like a fighter.
No, he looked like a barroom brawler. Listen, um, Rush, like I said before, man, I think that you are an individual that has lofty goals. You're an incredible friend, an incredible host. But I think on this topic of Mike Tyson, I think that you are insanely wrong. I think that Mike Tyson is a paper champion. I could arguably say that Mike Tyson is a construction worker who beats up on candy store shop owners. To be honest,
Yo, oh man.
because
I guess we're not gonna come to an agreement on
no,
this.
I agree. No, listen, I agree with you. The funny thing is that people agree with you. People agree that Mike Tyson is a great boxer, but I also believe that he is a great. Okay, imagine if they lowered the rims to like 8 foot. I would be the greatest basketball player of all time, brush. If they lowered it now at 37, I would be the greatest basketball player of all time. But you and I both know that a 8 foot hoop is not the standard. The standard is 10 foot regulation. And so these heavyweight boxers are not really boxing at high premium standards when Deontay Wilder is number 2 or number 3, and he's trash. They've pretty much, man, they've lowered the rims for the heavyweight division. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, sir. You got the floor.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man.
Yeah, I agree on that end. Yeah, yes, I agree on that. You know,
Now, on in other news, what do you guys think about Clarissa Shields in terms of women's boxing?
I think she's pretty good. I've seen her documentary,
Yeah.
and that's because like it was just on. It was like on demand or whatever, so I was able to watch it. And she has a pretty interesting backstory. You know.
Yeah, she was out of her mind when she said that she could beat a male boxer. I thought that.
Okay, that yes,
I was like, chick, you can't even knock
yeah,
out.
she
Women.
was
You can't
wilding
even
on
knock out
that.
women
That
boxers. Why the hell you
yeah,
gonna knock out a man? What are you talking about?
yeah.
Clarissa Shields, I like watching her. She's very marketable, so the media does a good job at marketing her. But yeah, man, like I said, man, Mike Tyson, good boxer, but I mean, when you
Mike got a movie coming out. I think
Mhm.
what's his name? Jamie Foxx
Jamie Foxx.
is yeah.
Why did they get like Michael B. Jordan or somebody younger to play him?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe they're gonna have a younger guy play the younger Mike. I don't know, but um, Jamie Foxx. I think Jamie Foxx is going to do an award-winning performance on that movie. I think that movie is going to be. My prediction is that that movie is going to be like almost like Ray, and
Okay.
and
Yeah,
once
I
that movie gets all of its accolades, Chaotic Truth is gonna be mad again because Mike Tyson gonna be in the top 3 heavyweight boxers of all time.
Yeah, Chaotic is gonna be hating on the sideline.
No, it's not hating. You know what it is that again, man, growing up again, man, and I feel sorry for kids who are under like a certain age. They don't understand how the '90s were, and we didn't have social media or the internet, and like these people were larger than life. But when you get older and you look at reality and see that, wait a minute, Tyson didn't fight anybody, or Tyson fought people and got washed, you start saying, wait a minute, this division is trash. You know, this is like my principal fighting the cafeteria lady or something. This is terrible boxing. But nevertheless, though, the heavyweight division is trash. It looks like a barroom fight. And Rush, I think you're wrong on this one. Go ahead, though.
No, I don't think I'm wrong. You know, like Tyson is, you know,
I could
he's,
arguably say, sir, that you could
he's a,
probably beat Deontay Wilder right now. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, I mean, out of the respect of boxing, like the sport, I can't agree on something like that, you know. But
Bro, I'm gonna tell you exactly why it's trash. Tyson Tyson Fury is retired. I think he's retiring already. Like he's saying he's getting out of boxing. I think the last fight was his last. He fought in the UK. He won. I think he said that was going to be his last fight. He's retiring. Bro, how you retire and you only had like about a couple of years of notoriety? Like, it's just crazy.
well, you know, here's the thing, and okay, like I guess dudes is different now. Like they're not as brolic as you know as heavyweights from back then. So that could be a factoring point why there's not a lot of decent heavyweight fighters.
Well,
You know what
I mean, and I agree with that. But to be completely honest with you, I think the popularity of boxing is diminishing, and you know, taller and bigger people, they ain't boxing. You know, it's either football or basketball.
Right, right.
I think that's
You
what
know,
it is.
but I think the reason why boxing is not as popular back then
Yeah.
is because of the whole MMA
Oh
circuit.
yeah.
Like now, MMA is more of a league everybody
Yeah.
gravitate towards. You know what
I
I
can
mean?
arguably say that the MMA is like alley street fighting. I don't like it. I think it's trash.
I mean, I like it because it's that raw,
Yeah.
unedited fight. You know what I mean? There's no, you can't win from a technicality. Like you have to beat your opponent. You know?
It's barbaric.
Matt
I like
Militant
that.
in the comment section made a good comment too. The paychecks are bigger. They getting paid way more.
Yeah.
You don't got Don King raping your pockets and shit, so yeah.
I mean, Tyson Fury, for example, like you can tell each fight he got into was for a money grab. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, boxing is not what it is, and MMA, I just can't watch that. It's not class. It doesn't have any class to it. You know, it's like it's bar fights. It's street fighting to me. Yeah.
I mean, I like it because it's raw and uncut. You know.
Yeah.
It's real. You know, two men going hand in hand combat. You know.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get back to that. You know, being more barbaric and brolic.
I think MMA is going to take over organized fighting. Yeah, because boxing is just not what it used to be. You know,
it's a dying sport.
Yeah, and the best division. My mind went blank, but the best division is the division that what's the my mind went. Javante.
Oh, you talking about? Javante is a lightweight. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, lightweight is the best division.
Yeah, Javante. Yeah, he's pretty solid. I wish Javante would actually move up in weight to welter, but who am I though? I'm just a dude talking. All right.
But you know what? Like, to my opinion, I think people still watch boxing because of Mayweather. To be real with you,
Oh, absolutely.
well, once he's out the picture, like boxing will be no more. You know.
But guess what though? That's a testament to how important the promoters were back then too. We talk shit about Don King, but Don King had that shit lit. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So
No, I
that
can't
goes to
find you
show
right.
you that a good boxing promoter is very paramount to boxing. Period, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why Mayweather took control of his promotion. Like he came out with his own promotional company, and he promoted his boxing.
Who would have been and you're right, Rush. You know who would have been a very marketable boxer if he remained solid in terms of training, eating right, not partying. Adrian Broner, like he was supposed to be the heir.
Oh, that right there, man. He's
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man.
He literally. Go ahead, no cap. No, go ahead.
He,
No cap.
he definitely dropped the ball.
Yeah,
Like yeah, he made a lot of bad choices.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. I would agree. He made a lot of bad choices. If he would have stayed focused, yeah, he could have been somebody. But
yeah,
But you know what, man? He was just too caught up in that street
yeah. He was.
politics, man. That
Yeah,
at
right.
some point when you're making that transition
Yeah,
to become a millionaire, like
yeah,
it's just some things
yeah.
you have to cut off.
You know, when you were a kid, because we were all kids in the '90s, and remember how you used to stick your tongue out and try to like pretend dunk like Jordan.
I
That's what.
came from. I used to do that
Yeah,
as a shorty
that's
too.
what. Well, yeah, that's what Adrian Broner was doing. He was pretending to be like Floyd, but not doing the work for it though. Like
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Like what happened was with that Medina fight, he tried to do that shoulder roll, and Marcus Medina knocked him out for it. Well, knocked him back. He didn't get knocked out, but But the thing is that you're trying to master a technique that you're not really training for, and you're drinking, smoking, you're mixing that into your body. You don't have the elements that
Yeah, he definitely have poor work
yeah.
ethic skills, man. Like
He would have been. I'm telling you, he would have been a top 10 boxer, man, if he would have just stayed healthy, stayed focused on boxing.
yeah, but you could tell he has nobody in his space that really cares about him because
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
out of hey man, you need to get
yeah.
him in the ring, start
You, but
sparring and shit.
now no captivity. Let me ask you this.
he was fucking too many hoes.
Yeah, his mind. Like,
Yo, I swear, man, he's supposed to be the kryptonite, man.
you know what's funny is like when All Access used to come on and like they showed Floyd going to McDonald's and all that. I'm like, I bet you all this is just an act. I bet you he didn't eat a fry. He's just pretending, and that's probably what it was. Like even when he had all those women around, I'm like, ain't no way in hell with all these women right now. This is all a
Yeah,
front.
man. Yo, Floyd, like he's the way he trains
Yeah,
and and prepares himself for an actual fight.
exactly.
It's almost unreal.
Yeah,
Like I said before, trains on a maniacal level. Like unrealistic obsession to win. Like the nigga be on it, man.
he
You know
makes
what I
his
mean?
enemies like he literally makes his enemies think that he is eating McDonald's and eating Burger King before a fight, and like that is absolutely funny to me. Currently, right now, Canelo is the pound for pound best boxer on the planet right now.
Oh,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
me too, because I can't think of anybody else will be better than him. To be real with you.
He is, but Javante to me Javante is the most popular. He gonna make the most money. Uh, in this day and age, Javante is gonna be huge. He's gonna be huge, bro.
Yeah, Tank is going to be huge. He definitely has people around him who definitely are taking care of him. He doesn't come off as the brightest, but he also doesn't come off as a person like Adrian Broner, who's partying and all that. He looks like he takes boxing more seriously. And Tank has like a 97 or 98% knockout rate. He's a different boxer than Adrian Broner, man.
But I'm gonna tell y'all the fight. If I would have won this fight, I bet on this fight too, and I lost. Yeah. I know y'all was like, damn, Freeze, you keep losing your fucking money. But anyway,
yeah.
If I would have won this fight, yes, I would have been a fucking boxing guru. I bet with Shane Mosley against Floyd Mayweather.
That was a really good fight, man. I was really I was actually shocked that Shane connected 2 or 3 times with him and actually made Floyd
me too.
I was like shocked. I'm like, damn. But I think Shane was way past his prime, but I gotta say there's no captivity. There's a possibility that Shane would have went the distance and won back in the day, man. If Floyd was like 10 or 15 fights in.
If you pay attention to that fight,
yeah,
when he made Floyd buckle, he walked.
I don't like the way you said that. Oh, that's terrible. He did make Floyd buckle. Oh, he did,
bro. But he stepped back. He was supposed to finish Floyd. He stepped back from Floyd, bro. I was like, is this shit fixed? What the fuck is going on?
He did step back. I got it in my head now. Yep, he did step back.
Oh, he could have finished Floyd. He could have finished that dude, man. I'm telling you.
It's almost like he gave him mercy that he didn't deserve. Because remember when Floyd fought, man, what was that Mexican dude? I don't know whether he was Mexican or Puerto Rican, but the dude walked over to Floyd and hugged him because I guess he thought it was like a timeout, but it wasn't. And like Floyd was like, and Floyd punched him. Remember?
Yes.
Because I guess it was still in motion or whatever. And I was like, Floyd don't care, man. But he was following boxing rules.
And I'm not taking that away from Floyd. For a long time, a lot of people criticized Floyd because they were saying, he running and he's not fighting, a lot of good. But Floyd fought all the good boxers that you could fight.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a fact.
He revolutionized boxing. Period.
Yeah,
he really did.
I could arguably say that I could beat an 80-year-old Floyd at boxing. Yeah.
You say it again, Chaotic.
I said I could arguably say that if Floyd was 80, I could beat him at boxing.
I don't know, shit.
Hey, I don't know either, man. Because they never really lose it. I mean, of course, they may lose some strength, or some athleticism, but Oh, but no captivity. Speaking of that, what do you think about Ja Morant and his comments towards Michael Jordan, or comments about Michael Jordan?
I ain't catch it. Let me know. Catch me up to date.
You know who Ja Morant is, right? Jay Morant, whatever his name is.
He played for the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah, he plays for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
He said that he would have washed Michael Jordan in the 90s.
Man.
Now you reach it.
Jordan
let me tell you something.
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
I like Ja Morant, bro.
Yeah.
He played hard, but that dude need to sit his fucking ass down somewhere, bro.
Yeah, I don't remember Ja Morant. He's 22. He was born 2000. He doesn't realize that Jordan literally was averaging 37 points a game back in the 80s, man. So I don't know. A lot of these kids aren't historians of the very sport that they play or participate in.
Well, let's just call it for what it is. A lot of these young cats, they just disrespectful, to the elders and the history. They get the big head, they get a little money. You can't tell these motherfuckers nothing.
Right. The other day there was from the 2022 draft, there was a kid, he was like 5th or maybe even 6th. And he said that he was better than he said LeBron got to prove to him that he's the greatest. I'm like, dude, you're not even the greatest in your own draft class, and you never even played in the damn NBAs. What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is LeBron talking about?
No. The kid said that about LeBron.
Oh, okay.
This kid just got drafted. He hasn't even played a single game yet, and he's saying that LeBron got to show him that he's the greatest. Dude, what are you talking about? LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time. What do you? Go ahead, Rush.
Not like these kids like no captivity is saying like they kind of like don't give homage to certain individuals that paved the way that have the actual skills to be
Mhm.
considered one of the greatest.
And I don't know that kid you're talking about, but LeBron not the greatest of all time. Now come on, Chaotic. God
Get
damn,
up
dog.
out of here.
Come on now. God damn.
Okay, hold on for a second. Now, wait a minute. Now, because I got to get up out of here in 15 minutes. But listen, because I got a show for the night. But look, let's be honest here. Okay, we could all be right on our opinion. We could all be wrong. But let's be honest. When it comes to physical superiority between MJ and LeBron, let's just look at it for facts. Who is physically superior?
LeBron.
Okay, there we go. So is it okay? That's in terms of athleticism. Now, I guess that could be up for debate, but who do you take for athletic wise? Who?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, you take Michael Jordan. Now, in my opinion, and this may sound like blasphemy, Michael Jordan averaged 30-something points a game in the 80s. Yes, he did. Michael Jordan didn't play as long as LeBron and still amassed 32,000 points. Yes, he did. I'll agree with that. But ain't no way in hell a Muggsy Bogues, a Mark Price, these little athletes will play in this NBA right now. And that's why I say, oh, and by the way, Jordan played in a very diluted NBA. You know what I mean?
Nah, hell no. Back then, listen. Back then, them old heads, how they played, they were real physical. Now, hold on. In this new day and age, you touch LeBron, he gonna be crying foul.
Rush. Hear me out for a minute. Just hear me out. No captivity. How many expansion teams existed between the 80s and the 90s?
It was. I'm gonna say what is about.
You had the Miami.
I'm guessing. It was about 4 or 5.
You had the Miami Heat in like 87 or 88. You had the Orlando Magic in 92, I think, or 90. I think it was like 90, 91 or whatever. You had the Toronto Raptors. You had the Vancouver Grizzlies, and what was the other expansion team in the 90s?
Not the. I was gonna say the Wizards, but the Wizards was not an expansion team.
I think the Wizards from the Wizards were the who were the Wizards at?
They was the Bullets.
They were the Bullets, right? So that name is very befitting for DC, by the way. So here goes the thing. Is it far out the scope to say that the NBA was diluted because you had players who should not have been in the NBA in the 90s? Keep it real.
I think that during that time, you had better players, you had more trademark players, you had bigger players, and it was more physical, and you had better coaches.
Will Muggsy Bogues make it in this NBA right now, sir?
Yeah.
Get out of here! You think so?
Yeah, he'll make it. Yeah.
Okay. Will Spud Webb be in this NBA?
Yeah, dribbling and passing.
Would Mark Price be able to play in this NBA?
Oh, hell yeah. Mark Price?
Okay, Mark Price, sir. And mind you, the NBA is way taller. I think the NBA is taller than it ever was. I think like by an inch or two. But you think Mark Price would play in this NBA?
Yep.
Okay.
Especially the way the game is set up now.
Okay, I'm gonna do you one better, Chaotic. Yeah. I think Ray Allen, if he played in the NBA today, he would still be the 3-point champion.
Wow. I mean, possibly so. Okay.
What I
get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. But these just soft as fuck. And everybody want to be Michael Jordan. Everybody want to be the highlight reel. You know what I'm saying?
I could arguably say, I see Matt Middleton. I could arguably say that every NBA player plays at the Michael Jordan level and better, and that the NBA has more talent.
No.
Oh, absolutely. Rush, listen, man, go back and watch.
Well, if that's true, right? Hold on.
Ain't no way in hell Ben
Listen, hypothetically speaking,
right now.
hold on. Hypothetically speaking, if this is true, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say this is true.
Yeah.
These cats, like no captivity, saying like, yo, they're not as brolic as the guys from in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like these young heads is kind of moist.
Man, let me hit him. Let me hit him with the quick line here.
Go ahead, man.
Right. What's going on, Labudo, man? It's been like a year and a half since I hit this panel, dog.
Absolutely.
But no, man, let me say this right here. How many of those players Michael Jordan went against is part of the 50 top greats?
Oh shit, a lot of them. Shit, I think 90% of them are.
Okay. For LeBron being in the league for over 20 years, how many of his players that he don't played against is in even the 75?
Wait, hold on for a second. Now, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. See, what you're doing, I understand what you're doing, but when they came out with that, the NBA had already existed for what 50 years or something like that, right?
But still, we can only look at the players in Michael Jordan's career time.
I see what you're doing. Okay, so yeah,
a lot of legends.
A lot of legends, yeah. I'll agree with you on that.
And then this point right here, how many full seasons have LeBron played over Michael Jordan? LeBron only got one full season, 82 games. Bang bang.
Okay.
Because when you look up Michael Jordan, he has at least 9 or 10 straight 82 games.
So, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it starts to break down of who's really the greatest. It don't matter about points and stuff like that to me. No. It matters more about, you know what I'm saying, what he really put in and what he accomplished over who he accomplished it over.
Okay, how about this? Okay, let's do this real quick. Okay, let's do this. Would you be willing to admit that the Golden State Warriors in 2017, 2018 were what year did they go 80, was it 70 and 72 and 10?
I think it was 17.
Okay. Would you be willing to admit that Golden State Warriors team is the greatest NBA team of all time?
I would probably say no.
Ooh.
I would probably say that they were the second.
Who was the first?
I would probably say anywhere between the 96 and 98 Bulls.
Okay, so 98 Bulls. Well, no, which team went 70 and 12? It was the 96 Bulls, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
but still, I think the 98 was better than the 96.
What was Golden State's record? Chaotic? I forgot.
I think their best season was 72 and 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I know the Bulls had 72 and 10.
Yeah, I think it was like just a little bit over there. I think they lost like 8 or 9 games.
Let me see.
But did the Warriors beat that record?
I think they did.
I think they might have beat that record.
They did.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna go out on the limb.
Oh yeah, they were 73 and 9 in 2015, 2016. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on the limb and agree with Chaotic on that bullshit, man.
Thank you, sir.
I can sort of agree with him a little bit. So I didn't pay much attention to the Golden State Warriors like I did with the Bulls.
Now, Matt Middleton. Now check this out. There's a reason why I brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm from Cleveland. The very next year, LeBron beat that team. I just want to point that out. So I guess my argument could be is that you could legitimately say that LeBron is the greatest because he beat the greatest team of all time. That's my logic on it. My logic may be flawed.
I knew you was gonna try to bring that shit home, man.
Rush right, man. We need to get you and Moneyboy back on the panel again, man. Gosh almighty, what the hell?
Now, mind you, he beat that team. He beat that team with the same players. So it could be argued that, hey, look, hey man, he beat this team that was 73 and 9 the year before.
But when it comes down to him, it's like how he's doing it though. This dude is looking for the cheapest way to get some of these records, get some of these goals. I mean, he is.
Oh no, guys,
hand picking.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I meant to say it wasn't the year after. It was LeBron beat that team, the 73-9 team that year. That's what I meant to say. Sorry about that. Yeah. So that's even better. Go ahead.
Yeah, they lost that year. They didn't
lost
win the
that year.
championship.
That's the greatest team of all time, and they lost. They were 73-9.
Well, that means they're not the greatest team of all time.
I think Stephen Curry is better than LeBron.
Okay, you about to get it. Okay, I'm about to get you about it. Ain't no way some 6'2" 3-point shooter better than
Stephen Curry stayed on the same team and is producing championships. This dude is hopping all over the freaking place and trying to handpick people who ain't up to par. I mean, it's disgusting. He ruined his career.
Okay, I can say this real quick. I can say this, and you guys can agree with me on this one. LeBron is the equivalent of Steve Jobs coming back to Apple. Hear me out. Just hear me out. When Steve Jobs was originally fired from Apple, their stock was shit. Their revenue was shit. The company wasn't really doing anything innovative. When Steve Jobs came back in '97, the company became, look at it now, right? The company became innovative. The stock became incredible. The revenue increased. All I'm saying is that LeBron makes people around him better. These other players don't. Michael Jordan went to the Wizards, and the Wizards were trash. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
No, Michael Jordan is good, but just the NBA as a whole, not Michael Jordan, but LeBron James is good, but the NBA as a whole, when Michael Jordan was playing, they're not even any real big men nowadays. Like I could drive to the hole in the NBA nowadays. It's not as difficult as it was back then.
Well, no captivity. If you call committing felonious assault on an individual driving down the whole NBA or basketball, then fine, I understand that.
And then another thing, chaotic. You got to concede to this.
Go ahead, sir.
LeBron flops. He might be the all-time floppiest. This nigga flop.
Yeah, he does. He does flop
more than any superstar I ever seen in my fucking life. It's kind of shameful, bro.
It is.
And he ain't got no all defensive championship.
Let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. People talk about this whole, but back in the day, you if you went down the lines, this will happen to you. You guys are openly admitting that the NBA was a criminal organization back in the day because Bill Laimbeer, what I saw, they say, oh, he's a dirty player. No, I see a man committing felonious assault every game because there's the grimy shit that he and Charles Oakley and all them did. I'm like, dude, this isn't boxing. This isn't NBA. This is the NBA, man. But I see where you guys are coming from.
Yeah, you got to be able to play back. Yeah, it was felonious. It was, but you got to be able to get around that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I'll admit this all day. These players now are soft in terms of you don't get Oakleys and Bill Laimbeers anymore in this NBA. Like these players now, they all want to be buddy friends with each other.
It's some bullshit.
Yeah, you don't get those players anymore. Players like Rodman, who did little dirty stuff. Nah, you don't get that no more, man. Because they couldn't take it mentally, for real. Yeah.
Now I will say this.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry. He's the real deal, bro. That guy's the real deal.
I'll agree with that.
He's gonna go down in history, man. This dude is phenomenal. When he first got to Golden State, I was arguing with my cousin. This is like probably his second or third year in, and I was telling my cousin, this dude is a fucking superstar. He was like, this dude is not a fucking superstar. I was telling, this dude is a superstar. I used to watch this dude at I think he played at Davie College.
Yeah, very small college. Yeah, I think it was Davie. Yeah.
I used to watch that dude at Davie, man. This dude, he was right. A lot of people don't know what he's doing in the NBA. He was doing it at Davie, but nobody was paying attention because it was so the college was so fucking small.
Davidson College, yeah.
Davidson, yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a small
And it's a
college.
private college too.
He was doing that shit back then, bro.
Yeah.
Telling you.
I got to get up out of here because I got to prepare for tonight. But I do want to ask you guys a question.
Mm-hmm.
Little Bronny, is he going to the NBA? And if he does go, will he be a contributor? Go ahead, sir.
No.
Ooh, no captivity. Go ahead.
I think he's gonna go, and it's gonna be like the Ball Sons. Yeah, it's gonna be that type of situation where they're mediocre, but they get in. But he's gonna get in. He's just gonna be overhyped, shit like that.
8 points a game. Yeah,
that type of shit, man.
Well, I don't think. Speaking of, I want to get into minutes. How come Taco Fall isn't a starter? I mean, you would think that they would use Taco Fall as a starter because all you gotta do is put him under the hoop. Man.
Taco Falls.
I'm
still looking for Jordan Bell. Like, where the hell he go?
He wasn't drafted, but he's a fan favorite because of his personality and height. But he's like one of those two-way players. He's 7'7" from Senegal. He's not really good. Doesn't have really explosiveness, but you would think that they would just put him under the hole, have him sit there. But I guess they don't want that kind of gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look appealing.
It doesn't look appealing, right? Yeah, it looks like a pickup game or something.
I mean, but what would be the difference between him and what we saw from like when we see highlights of Wilt Chamberlain and shit like that?
I actually have watched highlights of Wilt Chamberlain, and he actually was a good athlete. Yeah, that was a difference. He actually used to run up and down the court. He was actually a threat, and to be honest with you, if he played in this NBA, he would be dominating in this one too. He wouldn't have scored that 100 points. That was bullshit. But yeah, I
don't know because they said he was just toying around with him. So if that was toying around what we were seeing,
he was
what
playing
could he really do?
He was playing against 6'3" white boys. I mean, now you're talking about the average player now is 6'5", 6'6".
I don't think we want to see him fired up.
Yeah.
But when it comes, I'm gonna leave y'all with this because I'm gonna get ready to go too.
Yeah.
The basketball player who was the biggest freak of nature.
Who's that, sir?
Because you just mentioned LeBron, but to me, the NBA basketball player who was the biggest freak of nature was Magic Johnson.
Yeah, I've seen highlights of him, and he was a incredible athlete, incredible basketball player, incredible passer.
I would say somebody smaller, like a Vince Carter.
I said Magic Johnson because this nigga won championships as a point. He was the best point guard in history, and then he wanted. I think he sat in as a center as well. Like, who does that?
Won his first championship as a center on his
crazy, bro.
His rookie year.
Yeah. Magic Johnson is an incredible player. Actually, the HBO series, I've only seen a few episodes. They're really good. He was a really good player. I've seen highlights. I've never seen him play. I think. Well, I remember being a kid and seeing him before he retired the first time, vaguely, but I never really watched.
See, I'm 46.
Yeah,
I used to watch all his damn games.
Yeah, see, I'm 37.
You up there with me, man? All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, because I was what? When did he retired in what? 90, I think, the first time. So I was what?
Yeah.
5 years old or something. So I didn't really watch him.
Hold on, time out, Labuto. So if you were 5 years old, why you keep giving us all these stories about the 90s, man? Like
well, sir,
I called him on this a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Well, sir, you got to remember too. I was also, sir, I do remember the 90s. I was a kid and a teenager, and
I remember the 80s, but I didn't live the 80s.
Sir, I lived in the 90s, sir. I mean, I'm telling you, the 90s was absolutely fun. That's why I always talk about the 90s, and I miss the 90s.
Like Planet Rock was the number one song when I was 5 years old.
If the 90s was an ex-girlfriend, I will call her on a drunken night telling her how much I miss her after years. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
One of those
Mr.
drunk
90s
ex-girlfriends that you really like, But that's how the '90s was, man.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. The '90s was better than the '80s.
I don't know anything about the '80s because I can't remember it. But yeah,
Well, the '80s was classic, But if you wasn't smoking crack, you really didn't feel the whole. You didn't feel it. You know what I'm saying? You had to be on that shit.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man. So this. Oh, man, Middleton, you didn't really talk about the boxing thing, did you?
I was mostly in the chat with it.
Yeah. So what are your opinion, real briefly, because I got to get the hell up out of here. But real briefly, what do you think about my commentary on saying that Mike Tyson was a paper champion?
I think you underestimating the art of the work that you've seen from him because this dude was like, what was he, 220 or 200?
I think he was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then he's knocking out people that were super heavyweights. He was considered almost a light heavyweight you know what I'm saying? And he was knocking out super heavyweights with ease. And I think you are misinterpreting his speed as far as when it comes to the old school fighters. He would have fucked them up. He was too swift, and bobbing and weaving he would have messed their heads up.
Okay, let me ask you this, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. Let me ask you this: How does a A-list athlete or a athlete like that lose to a nobody such as Buster Douglas?
Forrest Gump said it the best. Shit happened.
Shit happened. Okay, so I gotta ask you another question.
Cocaine and pussy.
So I gotta ask you another question then, Matt Middleton.
Depression.
How come shit doesn't happen in the welterweight division like that? How come Arrow's not Arrow? How come Arrow isn't losing to some bum?
Because I think the circumstances are different. I mean, we had to put ourselves into Mike Tyson's world at that moment. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the depression, the deaths, the divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like dude said, the cocaine and all this stuff. His world was falling, and he fell along with
it. It was a different era back then too. Yes. I mean, you could be a superstar and smoke crack and still be at the height of your career.
Yeah, a lot of these young kids today don't know that about the '90s. You could smoke crack and do those things and still be at the height. You don't really have that now. You don't really have the Whitney Houstons of society.
It was different. It was just different back then.
And then we underestimating a professional heavyweight boxer. You know what I'm saying? That Buster Douglas was a heavyweight that hits like a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He might not have been the best, but still, he's a heavyweight boxer.
Buster Douglas would have whooped the shit out of Tyson Fury.
Oh.
I think he just had bad training. I mean, not a bad trainer, but you know what I'm saying?
I think Buster Douglas' mom had also passed away like a month or two before the fight, so he was on one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, yeah.
But the thing, before you go, Chaotic, I don't want it to go missed, right? Buster Douglas was good. Okay, even in his early career, he was a very good fighter. He just got he got overshadowed by Mike Tyson's downward spiral. Customato died. He was like a father figure. He was like a god to Mike Tyson. Just like Matt Middleton said, Mike Tyson went into a deep depression. And when he went to fucking all the hoes, and I think even before that fight, I don't know if you guys watched the documentary, the Tyson documentary, which was excellent. He snorted. I forgot how much he snorted, but he snorted an enormous amount of cocaine right before the fight, and I think he said he fucked like 2 or 3 hoes in the hotel right before the fight.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid considering the fact that he should be preparing for a fight.
Right.
I do want to say this real quick. Robin Givens. Rush, do you know who Robin Givens is? Rush, are you there?
Okay. Yeah. I know what that is.
Yeah, she was smoking hot. It was Mike Tyson's. Was that his wife at the time?
They was just dating at the time, but she accused them.
I thought they got married.
I thought they got married, but
yeah, they did.
The reason why I brought her up is that is the greatest case of hitting the wall I've ever seen in my life. She was absolutely beautiful back in the '90s.
But I think Don King kind of corrupted that dude's marriage. That's what I'm looking at when I look back at some of the stories.
Yeah.
It looked like he had a hand in what really went on with them two.
On
You think he sent her?
Yeah. You think?
Yeah, he sent her and then paid her to create a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yo, I could believe that. Yeah.
Wasn't she the one? Wasn't she the one who claimed that he was beating her or something like that?
Nah, I think
she was a gold digger. It was all about the money with her.
I honestly think that she probably had attacked him a few times and he was protecting himself. But here goes the thing, though. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's keep it real. What was Robin Givens in the 90s? I think she was a 9.5. But go ahead.
Hell no. I say she was probably a 4.5 or 5.
Nah, you tripping.
I don't know about that one.
You tripping.
And I like
why do you say she's a 4.5? Go ahead.
She just wasn't that great, that attractive, especially for the 90s. It was too many fine women through the 90s.
Give me 5 right now. Go, give me 3 of them from the 90s.
5? I hate to say which code, but which code was the top of the scale. The light skinned chick on the actor.
Halle Berry?
Yeah, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. Halle Berry.
Then you know what I'm saying. You had I can't come up with them straight off bat. This is the 90s. Which code? You had
Go ahead.
a couple of hip hop people. I was into hip hop and stuff like 357 and shit like that. When I'm looking at B.N.G.B., it was a whole lot of fine people out there in the 90s. Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Naomi Campbell probably was the hottest woman in the 90s.
Angela Winbush. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of people. What
about Naomi Campbell?
Yeah, she was dope.
Naomi Campbell. I gotta listen. Look,
all these people look better than Robin Givens.
Yeah, of course. Alec Weck. You know who Alec Weck is, right?
Claire Huxtable looked better than goddamn Robin Givens.
Talking about
Felicia Rashad.
Felicia Rashad, yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, she was an old woman in the 90s, but I got
Stacey Dash.
Yeah, she was really attractive back then.
Yeah, that Coon Burger was looking good.
Nia Long.
Yeah.
Nia Long.
If Nia Long was 5'11", she probably would have been one of the best looking women in the 90s.
Matter of fact, Regina King tops got daggone which called.
Regina King from Boys in the Hood.
Yep.
Yeah, she's pretty attractive. She's attractive actually. She's like an 8. Let me see.
The girl Kim from a Different World. You remember the dark skin?
Different World. I can't remember.
Dark skin chick. The real dark skin.
Let me look her up real quick.
The one that dated that light skinned nigga?
Did she date the light skinned dude?
With the glasses.
Ron?
It's about Karen Charlene Brown? Nah.
I mean, to me, beauty comes down to personality and all this. When she pulled that on Mike Tyson, her value dropped.
Yeah.
To about 4.53. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh no.
What was Cliff Huxtable's daughter that went to
Lisa Bonet?
Yeah. She was.
Oh yeah, she got her beat by Miles.
Yeah, she
light
was,
years.
She was real attractive.
She was about I give her about 7.5, 8 in the 90s. She was pretty hot in the 90s. Lisa Bonet.
Yeah, she was attractive.
She was very famous too in the 90s. Who else was hot in the 90s? Let's see. I always thought Kim from Living Single was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Who?
Kim from Living Single, the dark.
All them was looking good though.
Yeah, I gotta admit that they all look good. I mean, they're like, they were a little bit heavy, but they were good looking.
What about Vanessa Williams?
Vanessa Williams, yeah, she's about a 9.
Oh boy, yeah, that's light years away from Robin Givens.
Yeah, she's about a 9.
What's the other the girl that played on Higher Learning?
Oh, you talking about the Tyra Banks?
Yeah.
She looks like an alien, but I'll give her about an 8.5. Yeah.
Yeah, at that time, yeah, she was dope around that time.
Her was absolutely terrible in Higher Learning. I don't know why they picked her. I think it's because she was at the height of her modeling career. But yeah.
Or Homegirl.
I hate that movie.
I hate that movie too.
Yeah. Homegirl from Brown Sugar. Was it Brown Sugar?
Oh, okay. She alright. Yeah, she alright.
And Love and Basketball. Them two chicks, Love and Basketball and Brown Sugar, them two chicks right there is better than Robin.
Sanaa Lathan. That's my baby.
Yeah. Her mom
was real good.
You know who was hot, and a lot of people don't say this. It was that Puerto Rican chick from New York Undercover. She was pretty cute too.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She was pretty attractive.
She was never like a sex symbol or nothing like that. But yeah,
No,
yeah.
We said Holly Berry first, PMP.
Holly Berry definitely is.
What about Rosie O'Donnell?
Who?
Shorty that played in White Man Can't Jump.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
she
you know,
was
you're
bad
talking about
too.
Rosie Perez.
Rosie Perez.
Rosie Perez, my bad. Yeah.
Not Rosie O'Donnell. Hell
I'm about
no,
to take
not
your
Rosie.
steak.
I had the names mixed up. My bad, man.
Nah,
Rush,
she
give me your
was like
steak.
height. She wasn't really. I don't know. Maybe like a 5. She was height. She wasn't really.
She wasn't all that attractive.
Yeah,
she
I
just
never
had a
thought
big
that.
mouth.
Yeah, I never thought that either.
Jennifer Lopez. Back then, my goodness. Back then.
6.5.
Y'all don't remember Ray Don Chong, do y'all?
Who?
Ray Don
Probably by
Chong.
face. Might by face.
Nah, I can't remember. Who is that?
Okay, have y'all ever seen this movie called Beat Street?
I've heard
Yeah.
of it. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's one. I got that on.
Okay, Ray Don Chong is the one, the lady that the producer, the DJ, his younger brother was a breakdancer, but the DJ guy, that's who she fell in love with.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Because she was alright for the 80s. I don't know. Yeah. She was hot when you come to think about it.
Yeah, she was hot.
She couldn't act worth a damn, but
and then the light skinned lady that was on You Are the Last Dragon. Remember that?
Oh, that was Vanity. Vanity is definitely
Vanity.
She was really attractive. Yeah. I remember that. Yo, that movie's mad ancient.
Which y'all would be amazed at what Lisa looked like. I seen this chick about 10, 11 years ago out in Virginia Beach. Lisa.
Who was that?
The singer. I Wonder If I Take You Home. The girl that used to perform with Full Force. And
Full Force? Oh man.
Now we mentioned Halle Berry, part of my presence.
Labuto, you know the songs. You know the songs.
Yeah, I've seen her before.
Chaotic.
Yes,
you like dark skinned chicks, right?
Of course I do. I think dark skinned women are the best looking women on the planet. You know that.
Okay. You mentioned Naomi Campbell, but I'm gonna tell you, in the 90s, who was the most famous, most beautiful, recognized dark skinned chick, but she smoked crack and she walked the streets of Atlanta right now.
Oh, the girl from that TV show.
I think she played in Full House.
In the house.
It's. I know what you're talking about. She's
Mia Campbell.
Yeah, she was pretty hot. Yeah, she was like a 10, man. Yeah. Smoking on dope, man. What's it called? In the House?
Yeah, in the house. In the house.
Yeah.
With LL.
9.5. Yeah, she was. Yeah, Mia. What's her name? Maya Campbell.
Yeah, Maya Campbell. Yeah.
That's a damn shame.
Bro, she walking the street right now. Can y'all believe that shit?
Yeah, I seen videos of her clucking. I was like, oh no, man, no.
That was pretty depressing to see that.
Yeah, she was pretty hot in the 90s. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that one.
Well, fellas, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, man.
Good stream, man. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be back up tonight, but salute to you guys. Hey, Rush, man. Like I said, man, you're definitely not wrong, but you're not right either.
Oh, come on.
So, but like I said, man, at the end of the day, I would never say these things to Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz. Hell, I won't say these things to, I think Larry Holmes is still alive. No, Larry Holmes has passed away, right? I can't remember. But yeah, I wouldn't say these things to these people's faces. But I will admit this, though. I think pound for pound, the greatest boxer of all time is Roy Jones Jr. But guys, you guys have a good one. Peace, man. Roy Jones was a monster, dude.
I'll agree with you there. We're going to leave with an agreement there.
He was a monster until Antonio Tarver got in that ass.
Yeah. Hey, I saw Antonio Tarver in real life. I didn't know this. Listen, I didn't know that dude was that damn tall and huge, man. I said, oh yeah, TV doesn't do that dude no justice. He's a big dude, man. So I can see why.
And you know, he virtually owned Roy Jones Jr. in, you
Yeah,
know,
he did.
when they was young and older. So
Well, yeah, he was a better boxer, I think.
but I get what you're saying about Roy Jones. His boxing style was it was awesome.
Bernard. So guys, let's do this real quick. Rush, who is your top 3 of all time in terms of boxing?
Top 3, obviously Tyson.
Paper.
Zabzuda.
Let me get you.
I know. I get that a lot. I get that a lot. And my third one would be Mayweather.
Salute.
Yeah.
No cap. I don't know if you said it. Who's your top 3?
Okay, Muhammad Ali, of course.
Okay.
And then Bernard Hopkins.
Oh, right.
And I'm gonna go with Floyd.
Okay. Man, who's your top 3, man?
My top 3, I'm gonna start from the bottom. I'm gonna go with Pacquiao. Which go with Pacquiao. Number 2 is Mike Tyson. But number 1, I gotta stay with my home roots, Norfolk, Virginia. Sweet Pea Whitaker. Fuck Mayweather. Sweet Pea was first.
Sweet Pea, who's that? Pernell Whitaker?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. I would say my top 3 definitely is number 1. And I hate doing these rankings because to me there's no number 2s or number 3s to Floyd. He's just the greatest, period. But in the spirit of doing this, Floyd is number 1. Number 2, in my opinion, is definitely Bernard Hopkins. And my number 3, this may be a bit of a shock here, but my number 3 would have to be Tyson Fury.
Bye, Chaotic. Bye.
That definitely your third one definitely threw me off, Chaotic.
Well, Rush, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're in no position with that do this shit to say anything. Guys, have a good peace, man.
Peace.
Peace. Have a good
Peace.
Boy.
Yo, later, Freezy, man. Yo, thanks for coming through.
Oh yeah, man. You know what it is, man.
Salute
Appreciate
Rush. Anytime. State gang.
Mad Militant,
You already
man, it was a
know.
pleasure,
Stay
bro.
gay.
Say that again.
I said it was a pleasure, bro.
Word. Check me out on my channel, Mad Militant. I got the same content as Labuto. He be trying to beat me to the punch a lot of the time. He don't know that though. But salute.
Salute, bro.
All right, y'all.